gotten the unions the last 15 years to go along with the expansion of NAFTA and GATT, the North American Union, to literally destroy their workers' future. I saw a Forbes article yesterday admitting that the new Detroit is Mexico. And, of course, you get paid $3 an hour instead of $25 an hour. And it's all done to shut this country down. Look at this Forbes headline. Is Mexican billionaire Carlos Slim the new role model for Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg? Is the Easter Bunny our friend? Is Santa Claus helpful? I mean, it's just all ridiculous as they build up Zuckerberg, who went to Bilderberg 3-4 years ago, to cement the major mafia don green lighting of running the Facebook pump and dump stock offering. It's just all a bunch of pump and dumping, money laundering, globalist kingpins, exempt from everything, just trying to wreck the middle class, laughing at us. Remember Zuckerberg famously said, oh my gosh, our users trust us, what a bunch of dumb effers. While being on TV, trust me, we don't sell your data, we don't use it. It's a CIA-engineered, Harvard-run psych warfare operation to start revolutions, to control revolutions, to wreck society. People ask, why are you on Facebook? Because fans 5 years ago, or whatever it was, started more than 50 Facebooks, and we took them over. We got about 10 of them that we kept. We consolidated the others. We've got over 3 million likers or whatever you call it. Sure, we use the enemy platform, but don't think for a minute we ever depend on it. Don't think for a minute we ever expect it to be there tomorrow after we've been censored time and time again. And again, Facebook and YouTube and all these groups operate like, oh, it's a public commons, bring your content here and just follow these rules. But then you follow the rules and they kick you off. By the way, Google is much better than Twitter and Facebook when it comes to censoring. Because Google's smart. They want to be the biggest open area because that will give them global domination. So you've got a lot of these big internet conglomerates as well battling with each other for supremacy. And within that natural separation of powers, like we see in government, we have some of the wiggle room to allow basic free press to develop and grow. But it's precious. It's like I have a saltwater tank and, you know, you put inexpensive baby corals in there, but not all of them take. They need to get established and rooted, and they're doing well before they grow. And it's the same thing with the new media. We are giving the globalists a run for their money. They're trying to suppress us, trying to game the internet, trying to bring in internet kill switches and taxation grids, but we're fighting a lot of it back together. That's why the whole world's hooked into the web now. It is a giant surveillance grid. That's why we have to double down and take it over with our individual actions, with the decisions we make online, with where we spend our money, who we support, who we promote, to create a mass cascading event that could cause a new renaissance. And the other option is total slavery to the technocrats. So we better believe we can change things. And we have changed things. We've had a lot of victories. This is a fluid, ongoing battle by a lot of other interests. You've got the globalists trying to control and manipulate all these different interests towards their global governance, which has a very bad end game. Global population force reduction. All the stuff we've seen so far is just the toying with it, the tinkering, the beta testing. We're entering the end game. We're entering the globalist attempt to transcend humanity, merging with machines, becoming gods, and then expunging the earth of the disease they call humanity. I would talk about that 18, 19, 20 years ago on air. It is now 20 years. It'll be 20 years in just a few days. Like, I ought to try to remember the exact date. I have to go back and look it up. I know it was at the end of 1995. That'll be 20 years, won't it? Or is that 19? I guess I say 20 because I was doing radio interviews and stuff in 94. So there isn't really any set date. It's been about 20 years. 22 years I've been politically active. I don't know. I've been politically active since I'm 19. I'm 40. Doesn't matter. We're going to come back, get into all the news. Get into the latest on Ebola and the other mystery virus inside the U.S. More Ebola patients coming to Atlanta, Georgia. We're going to get into Scottish independence and what it means to the Transylvanian royal family, the House of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. You know it as Windsor. Investigate. And he'll also be joining us live on the air remotely to discuss the piece. And we were planning to air it today when he shot it yesterday. He finished the report last night and remotely sent it to us. But New York City approves sensors to pinpoint gunfire, gunshot microphones proven to capture conversations, Associated Press. See, how do you put up microphones to listen to people with computer software that they use on the telephones to record the conversations, to voice print them, and to track you by individual name in something that, again, makes 1984 look like a free system compared to what they're setting up here? You call it a gunshot detector. You turn the schools into little snitch prisons in the name of keeping kids safe from guns, even though statistically only 60-something children under the age of 18 get killed a year in school shootings. It was 67 in 2013. But there's still that perception. Almost everyone I've ever known, unless they're scuba divers or snorkeling enthusiasts, are afraid to go into deep water or afraid to... People will climb back in boats if they see some 6-foot-long fish. Or, God forbid, they actually see a nurse shark. A nurse shark's harmless. I'm going to be swimming over to the nurse shark, trying to feed it or something, and just because I know it's harmless. If I saw a sand shark, I'd go over to it. 5 people a year die from great white attacks, maybe another 15 from all other attacks combined. 20 is the global average for shark deaths per year. Well, one has taken place. Bloomberg. And again, I dovetail this with the guns. Counting the suicides and everything, it's like 12,000 people a year out of 320 million. Last time I checked, it's like something like 70,000 people fall and die in their bathrooms every year. 100,000+, and it's in the World Almanac, die from drowning every year. I mean, it's crazy. Going to ban swimming? The world's a dangerous place. Hundreds of thousands from automobiles. 200+ from honeybees. 200+ from wasps. 300+ from deer. Jumping in front of cars. Going to ban deer? Going to have TSA checking on the side of the highway to stop the deer because they might jump out in front of you? Going to ban driving at night? I've hit deer at night. Almost everybody I know, Buckley Hammond, my cousin coming up, was driving out to see family in Fredericksburg years ago. Deer jumped out in front of him, totaled his truck, flipped it off into a ditch, going 70 miles an hour, hitting multiple deer. Going to ban driving at night? Shark mauls man's leg in fatal attack off Byron Bay Surf Beach. A shark mauled a man to death at one of Australia's most popular tourist spots, prompting authorities to close down the beach. Officers and paramedics were called to Main Beach in Byron Bay after the man, believed to be in his 40s, was bitten on his right leg, police said in a statement. He was seen floating in shallow water. See, the great white thought he was something else, took a bite, didn't like the flavor, kicked the guy back out, and he bled to death pretty quick. He was seen floating in shallow water close to shore and dragged on the beach, where he was pronounced dead a short time later. Probably made it most of the way back. There have been 170 fatal shark attacks in the past 100 years in Australia. Yeah, most of them are in Australia. According to researchers at Sydney's Targano Zoo, Channel 9 television showed footage of an estimated 2-meter-long shark off the beach not long after today's attack. It's only 6 feet long. Might have been something else. It's north of Sydney, 500 miles where this happened. Now, cigarettes are estimated to kill over 300,000 people a year. And that's with the numbers down in smoking. Used to be like 500,000. But see, it's not scary. It doesn't have a little fin on it going dun 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 dun. All I'm saying is this is an example of how the media can take things that aren't really a threat statistically and make it be the most scary thing in the world. Guns, sharks, oh my gosh. Kind of like this Ray Rice thing. You would think this guy was Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm not defending what he did. Everybody gets to swell up and be all upset about it now. I'm going to talk about that when we come back. This is an example of mind control. Then we're going to get into the Prince's